what the other day when we talked to you, you were talking about the different considerations you might have for pitching this weekend. Like, what do you think you guys have settled on for tomorrow?
Yeah, we took a long look at all the teams that are in the tournament, and we just felt like staying with what we have been doing. Pretty much the second half of the season is what we're going to do. So DeCaro will throw Friday night against Long Island. Sprague will throw against Wofford or LSU, and Houck game 3. That's the plan.
Did you take a long look at that because of, like the possible righties you could see, right-handed bats you could see on Saturday night?
Yeah, 100%. We looked at the matchup, and what's crazy is how good really all three have been. But Sprague and DeCaro have been really similar in the ACC. DeCaro's walked a little bit more. They both struck out about the same, close to the same opponent batting average. But Sprague's been really good against both righties and lefties, but even better against righties. So we felt good about both matchups. So when we felt pretty even, we just decided to keep it as is.
What's this time of year like, Scott? You play all year to get to this point. It gets here, and just the feeling you guys are having right now.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that question, because the longer you coach, the more you should understand why you coach. So for me, I enjoy it more than I ever have, especially watching the guys experience it. Because I put myself in their shoes, or try to. I wasn't nearly good enough to play at North Carolina, but man, these guys are unbelievable players. But you see the joy on their face, you see the excitement. But I also understand, I've been here a long time, came with Coach Fox as a volunteer in '99, and I know how hard it is to host a regional. I know how hard it is to be a national seed. I know how hard it is to get to the College World Series. And when I was younger, I don't think I really stepped back and understood it. It just kind of happened when I came back here after Winthrop in 2006. But now, the older you get, you realize, like, hey, it's not easy. And I've got a lot of really close, great coaching friends. They've never even been in a super regional, and they're a good team. So, I'm just enjoying it. It makes me smile. That's what I think about, just smiling.
Scott, what kind of atmosphere are you expecting at the Bosch? Not just tomorrow, but this whole weekend.
Awesome. Sold out. That's why, matter of fact, Mr. Bryson spoke to our team yesterday. He was our guest speaker. Obviously Bryson Field, and I wanted our guys to hear from him when he played here, in the 60s, how it's still so meaningful to him at 84, I believe is how old he is. But because of great support we've had here, we were able to build the stadium. We were able to enhance it, continue to keep it looking great, one of the top stadiums in the country, and it should be packed, standing room only, and 4 great teams, so it's going to be awesome.
What did he say? What was?
He really did. He didn't even go in about his success in the business world. He just talked about his time at North Carolina, the relationships, what it was like playing here then. He talked about his teammates a ton, the effect they had on him, his coaches. He's from Gastonia. A lot of the American Legion, that's all it was back then. So he talked to the guys about that, and he talked about how they got to the World Series. And the funniest story he told was how they got to the World Series. They had 2 coaches. One coach had to leave because he had a commitment coaching summer ball, so he couldn't even be in the College World Series. And Coach Rabb, after practice out there, challenged one of the guys to a race, and pulled his hamstring, but then he fell and he broke his elbow or something.
Oh, dear God.
So he's literally coaching in the World Series in a wheelchair, And he said he was all on medicine, so they all played really loose.
How did Shea start last Friday in that kind of atmosphere give you the confidence that he can come out on a Saturday?
Yeah, that's what I was excited about. Once I saw, a lot of people say, "Oh man, tough draw with Chase Burns," but I knew that if the game meant something, I thought even the game didn't mean every game means something, but I felt like with Burns on the mound, if we beat Pitt, and that's the deciding game that goes to Saturday, that place is going to be packed. And I don't know how many it holds, but it was sold out. I guess around 11 or more. Y'all know more than I do.
9,000.
9,000. Okay, so and that's what you want to pitch in front of. And one thing I've noticed about Shea Sprague is he loves the big moments. He loves competing. That's why he decided to come to North Carolina. And I could tell that he was excited about that matchup with Chase Burns. And for the most part, he's not going to strike out 15 guys an outing like Burns, but he's going to compete and keep you in the game.
Have you seen some of the more veteran guys like Berto, Vance, who were in the regional 2 years ago and in the super regional 2 years ago, sort of step up in leadership this week?
Yeah, I thought a lot about that, but I shared a story with our guys. My first year back here as a pitching coach in 2006, we had not hosted since 1989. We had not been to Omaha since 1989. And then I said, you know what? That's a little bit overrated in my opinion. And I asked them, I said, how many times has Coastal Carolina been to the College World Series? And they said, one. I said, there you go. And they won it. So this time of year, it's a new season for everybody. Experience, yeah, it can help, but, heck, we've had guys here in 07 that had never played, like Dustin Ackley and Kyle Seeger, those type of guys. And, they can just help the guys from the standpoint, hey, your adrenaline's going to be higher. You're going to be excited, so just take a deep breath.
A few days removed from Selection Sunday, what have been some of your major takeaways from each of the other teams in the regionals, kind of just looking at them?
Good teams, deserving to be here. I told our guys we have to focus on LIU, and I told you guys about 2017. We ran through the league pretty good, and now the difference in that team is we had not been to a regional in 2 years. So it was new for a lot of those guys even being in the postseason, not for these guys. But I don't want we got to focus on them because they're here for a reason. These 4 seeds will beat you in a second if you don't play well. But obviously, Wofford's been really good, and LSU, their tradition, what they've done for college baseball, you have to respect. So it's an exciting group of 4, in my opinion.
Scott, I know we joked along those lines. I know we joked the other day about Castagnazzi and DeCaro being Long Island guys in terms of the scout, but what do you try to dig into to learn about a team that you haven't been playing against in the ACC, that is sort of a new, entity to your guys when you're trying to get ready to play games like this? What do you look at and dig into?
You treat it just like it's a Friday game in our league, and you focus on, from the offensive standpoint, on the pitcher you're going to face, their best bullpen arms, but especially the starting pitcher, preparing for what he has. You don't look at any other teams in your preparation. I mean, you do in your preparation, but not for your team's preparation. Right. We don't know if we're going to play Wofford or LSU, but if we beat Long Island, we're going to play one of them, and we'll prepare them as quick as we can for that. And then looking at their offense, how they do things. Are they a station-to-station team? Do they have power? Do they have speed? Do they have the combination? Because they're all different teams here. You look at LSU, you look at Wofford, you look at Long Island. They've all had success in different ways. But the main thing for us is the approach against the starting pitcher and then their lineup.
What are your specific challenges in the LIU game?
I mean, it's honestly, it's like any game. There are challenges going into it. The matchup's the matchup. Obviously, we're used to seeing velocity in our league, but we're also used to playing guys that can really pitch. It might be 87 to 89 like the starter's going to be from Long Island. So, just really trying to prepare hey, you go from facing Chase Burns 98 to 100 to facing to a right-handed pitcher that's going to be 85, 88 with 4 pitches that's going to try to get you out front and roll over the ball. So that's one challenge. And then the other one's really you have to be careful focusing on the other team too much the longer I do this. We have to pitch to our strengths. We have to coach to our strengths, and we have to play to our strengths. And, Vance Honeycutt gets on, he's going to steal. I don't care who you're playing. That's what we do. If DeCaro's in the game, he's going to pitch like Jason DeCaro. He's not going to throw. If the slider's his 4th pitch that day, he's not throwing it because the guy can't hit it. He's going to throw his best pitch, and may the best man win. So we'll focus on that. But, they're a good team. They're here for a reason, so we'll have to play well.
Coach, in Baton Rouge, obviously I haven't seen a lot of Carolina baseball, but what do you like about where your team is right now? Obviously, you guys have won a number of games coming down the stretch.
Yeah, first of all, good to have you here. Last time I was in Baton Rouge, I was coaching at Winthrop. Y'all had the Harris twins, I think. Yeah, it was a long time ago, yeah. We really enjoyed that trip. I've never eaten so much fried food in my life. Yes. Ask that question again, I'm sorry.
Your team's running hot right now.
Yeah.
Why? Where are they doing well?
The one thing they've done all year, Coach Fox came yesterday, too, and I wanted him to introduce Mr. Bryson. And he complimented the guys on, I don't feel like you've taken a pitch off or a game off. And this group, I feel like they've played with something to prove. all year. A lot of teams in our league, have been ranked higher most of the year. These guys know what's going on. So that edge has helped them. They've showed up every day. They know that the way college baseball is now, they got to play. But there's balance in this team. We've had some guys step up that came in here off the portal. Our returners have played well, and as Coach Roy Williams always said, your players got to play. And our players have played. You look at Casey Cook, you look at Vance Honeycutt, you look at Parks Harbor, and then you look at some of these pitchers, especially the bullpen that not many people talk about. That's an older group: Dalton Pence, Matt Poston, Matty Mathias. And they've really, come together when we lost those 2 Friday night pitchers. That was a tough blow for us. Honestly, I didn't know how it was going to go when you lose Jake Knapp and then a guy that's currently your Friday guy. But they took the opposite approach, like, we ain't letting it stop us. So it's a credit to them. It's a fun group to be around.
Have you heard from any of your coaching friends, Coach Davis, Coach Williams? Obviously, you heard from Coach Fox, but have you heard from any of those guys?
Oh, yeah. The support here is everybody. We had a head coach's meeting the other day. As a matter of fact, Coach Brown let us use Keenan last night in their theater room. We watched a movie. I couldn't believe how many guys had never seen Remember the Titans. Blew my mind. But we went out to eat, and we went over there, and he had it opened up. I sat in a massage chair and got like a 10-minute electric massage. I mean, football's a different world, right?
See how the other half.
Yeah, no doubt. But they had popcorn and snacks, and our guys were eating it up. And Coach Williams has been a huge baseball supporter and a huge supporter of me and my family since I've been here. Always gone out of his way to make my wife and 2 daughters, feel comfortable when he's at the game, and he always would come to Omaha. So they've reached out, and the message is, hey, keep going.
Scott, because the weekend arms are sort of set up the way they normally are, I guess you haven't had to move around any bullpens or do anything in terms of prep that you wouldn't normally do, sort of like a regular week type deal?
Yeah, Halk had to throw a little bit more, but we did get him in the game against Wake Forest, which was good. And then we had that group of guys, because you want to be ready. I mean, I've been in a lot of regionals. In 2022, we did have to come out of the loser's bracket. So a lot of people say, you're done. It's not true. If you have some depth, you want to prepare that depth in case you have to play that 4 game. In 2013, we weren't in the loser's bracket, and we still, Florida Atlantic beat us. Florida Atlantic beat us on Sunday, and we had to play again Monday. So Pageant throwing live to hitters, getting his pitch count up. Peterson throwing his bullpens, and a lot of other guys like Bovair, Olin Johnson. I've seen crazy things, and I've seen extra inning games. So you want those arms ready. So we had those guys face all of our guys like Johnny and Vanderbrake and French and Dix and those type of guys. Thank y'all.
Appreciate it, Scott.
All right, boys.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Knock it out, man. Good luck.
Jeez, rolling out all the heavy hitters. The theater room.
Yeah. Massage chair.
I mean, they got Fox.
Yeah.
You need to save a little bit for the Super.
I know, right?
Vance, what up?
How y'all doing?
Good. How's it going?
Pretty good. Yes, sir.
You guys ready to get here?
Yeah.
I'll start off. No. Yeah, no problem.
Here, scoot left.
Big weekend coming up. How are you feeling? What does it mean to you?
Yeah, the guys are excited. Being back at the Bosch means a lot. Just ready for postseason baseball, taking 1 game at a time, and just ready to get out there tomorrow and compete.
You feel 100% with regard to the back?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Vance, Scott was talking about, the speakers you had last night, watching the movies, the popcorn over at Keenan. Just what was your whole takeaway from that? Sounds like a good time. Tell us about last night.
Yeah, let's get the guys together, be with each other. We had team dinner and then went over there and watched a movie. It was a good time.
Were you one of those players that never seen Remember the Titans?
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Yeah. It was really good. Yeah. I don't know how I hadn't seen it before that, but
Especially as a football player.
yeah, I know it. It was weird.
You guys have been so good at home this year. I mean, how nice is it to be sleeping in your own bed, eating your own food? How will that help you guys this weekend, you feel?
Yeah, it's definitely an advantage. I think it just raises the comfort level a little bit. We're very familiar with this park. We can also wake up in our own bed, like you said, get to the park and just kind of stay with our routine. We don't have to change a whole lot. So, we've been really good here, just continuing that.
Any reason why you guys have been so good at home?
Nothing in particular. Just maybe just that level of comfort.
Is there confidence there too? Obviously, when you play as well as you have here.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Coach was just talking about you guys coming out of the losers bracket in 22. Have you found yourself thinking back to that weekend at all this week?
Not really. It's a different team, different year, obviously, but just I think we kind of remember the memories, not as much, those games. I think that's just, just trying to prepare these other guys that maybe haven't been in this spot, younger guys or new guys that came into the program. So just kind of just preparing them a little bit more.
This is really specific, but we talked to Parks the other day. We talked to Parks a couple times the last couple of weeks, and we've mentioned the homer that you robbed against Georgia in 22. And how much does he bring that up with you? I mean, he says he jokes with you about it some, like, you broke my heart, that type. Do you guys talk about that much at all?
In the fall, we did a little bit, but, not anymore. Yeah.
How does an experience like that against, an SEC team like Georgia and then Arkansas help with potentially seeing an SEC team this year?
Yeah, it's postseason baseball, but, anything can happen. And, I think we were expecting to see an SEC team here. You want to play great teams if you want to, get to where you want to go. So just welcome that, and, I think we're just ready for it.
You guys had like a public celebration for the selection show on Monday, which, as I recall, wasn't a thing in 22.
I think so.
How cool was that experience? Because it was something new for the whole team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I guess if you're not going to be a top 8, that's probably not going to happen. I think in 2022 we were 9 or 10, and that we didn't even have that. So I think it just is a credit to our season so far. But I think now it's just a new ball game.
The other night in Charlotte, just the atmosphere and Burns throwing 100, just the whole deal. Like, do you think that was almost like a good little primer for the regionals and hopefully the super regionals, like just that type of setting? You know what I mean?
I think so. Wake's a great team. Burns is a great pitcher. So in that atmosphere, I think that's just one of those games that hopefully you can win. You didn't come out on the right side of it, but I think that prepares us well for this upcoming weekend.
How much of adjustment is the pitcher you're going to face tomorrow is thrown in the 80s as opposed to what you saw in the last game? How much of adjustment is that?
A little bit. It's probably not as much as you might think. I think we're just preparing differently. I think per starter we just prepare as is. So we're used to it. Guys have been throwing really hard throughout the year, and then the next day there might be a guy throwing upper 80s. So it's not much of a change. I think it's more of just controlling your kind of move to the ball.
Will you kind of soak it in a little bit more? This is probably your last go round as far as college baseball. Will you soak it in a little bit more, maybe be a little more special this postseason?
This group is special. So I think our goal right now is just focus on Friday, and then if we can get that done, just to move on to the next. I don't think we're thinking too far ahead. Just take it one game at a time.
Vance, how do you, in terms of preparing for LIU for you as a hitter, it's not like an NC State or a Duke or whoever, a team you see normally. Like, how do you go about trying to dig into what you need to dig into and look at what you need to look at to get ready for sort of a new opponent?
Yeah, just watching their starter for the most part. I think we're going to look at maybe a bullpen arm or two that they use a lot. But other than that, I think we're focusing on us. Just focus on the things we need to do well in order to succeed.
Vance, since you didn't get to play in the postseason last year, do you cherish this opportunity a little bit more?
Yeah, 100%. As you're kind of just sitting there watching last year, all you want to do is play and help out. So it'll be good to get back out there.
What was that like for you, watching just from the dugout, knowing you couldn't play?
Yeah, it sucked, honestly. Just try to be the best teammate I could, support the guys, be the first guy out of the dugout. Anything I saw, just relay that to the other guys.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thanks, Vance.
Appreciate it, Vance.
Yeah.
We'll see you tomorrow.
I'm good.
That's not Casey Cook. No, I'm joking. Yep, go for it.
Jason, how are you feeling going into your first postseason start in college?
I'm pretty pumped. I think all the guys are really ready to go for tomorrow, and we've prepared all week and we're ready to go. So I'm excited.
What have you seen in your preliminary scouting of LIU going into tomorrow?
We've really just been focusing on, like Vance said, what we have to do in order to succeed, what we can control. What they throw out there is really out of our control. So just really honing in on what we can, improve on. And I think the game against Wake was kind of almost like a blessing in disguise, where if we win that game, we probably don't look at all the little things that we could do a little bit better. So I'm just really trying to focus on those and improve on that as much as we can.
What are some of those little things that you guys have kind of been trying to work on going into this weekend?
Just like simple things like holding runners a little bit better, making the easy plays that we can on the mound, and for hitters, I'm like base running, getting reads in the outfield. So just little things like that we can control.
Jason, how many of those dudes do you know for LIU?
I know a couple, played against a couple of them in high school. Should be pretty fun to get out there on the same field as them again.
Yeah, and have you talked to those guys since the pairings came out?
Yeah, I got a couple texts. Yeah.
Who are they? Can you tell us their names? We just throw it in there, It's not a bad
I
thing.
know a couple of them. Well, one of my best friends is actually on that team. His name's Torrin. He's hurt right now, so he's not going to be playing, but it'll be good to see him. Played against a couple of their position players in high school. I think their shortstop. He was at one of the schools in our league, so I'm excited to get out there.
Gotcha. Not a bad thing.
Jason, Vance was just talking about how much it sucked to sit out the postseason last year. You've got two pitchers, Jake and Folger, who would probably be throwing in this regional if they weren't injured. How much have they helped you, Shay, Aiden, in just growing this season and building up to this point?
Yeah, for sure. It sucks for them. They can't go out there and help us, and I know that's eating at them every day. But they're just going out there and being the best teammates they can be and kind of supporting us as best they can. And if they see anything that they think we should be aware of or pick up anything during a game, then they'll come and let us know. And it's little things like that that are making this team so special. Like the guys that aren't out there on the field contributing necessarily. They're contributing in other ways in the dugout and in the locker room. So it's pretty awesome.
It's a long season, but do you feel like you guys have sort of built things throughout, February, March, April to this point to where you're playing some of your best baseball coming into this thing?
For sure. I think our biggest saying is get better every day. And I think we've really taken that to heart and bought in on that. And I think we have gotten better every day, and I think we're at our best right now. So I'm excited to get out there and see how we play.
How important is it to get linked from you tomorrow when you don't know how many games, how many innings the staff is going to have to cover over the course of the next 3 days?
I treat it as any Friday night game. It's important to go out there and go as long as you can, but I'm not really focusing on that. I'm more so focusing on just going out there and attacking their hitters and going with my game plan.
How fun is this time of the year? There's no school, it's all baseball. The pressure is a couple losses and you're done. Just what is this year? What is this time of the year like for you guys?
It's awesome. This is what we come here for. Come here for postseason baseball. I wouldn't say there is much pressure. We're going out there and playing the same game we have our whole lives, and just excited to get out there.
How did you feel about the way you pitched against Pitt the other day in Charlotte? It was a good outing for you, and did you feel like that was sort of a good way to get your feet wet in terms of throwing in the postseason?
I think so. I think pretty solid out there. Could have done a few things a little bit better, but I feel like that's pretty much every start. You can look at things to improve on and things you did well. But good to get out there in that environment, get that experience. So, yeah, pretty happy with it.
Scott was saying the other day when we were here for the selection show that they were going to look at the matchups and maybe made it seem like maybe might mix up the rotation a little bit. Did you think that might be a chance you got held till Saturday, especially with some of the right-handed bats like LSU has. Did you think that might happen?
Try not to speculate like that too much. Just focus on when's the next day that I could throw and kind of get myself ready for that. So try not to look too far into the future and just focus on that day and getting ready for whenever it could be available.
What do you think sets you guys apart from the other teams that you guys will be playing? Anything specific?
I think we want it for each other. We don't want it for ourselves. I think we honestly in that locker room we love each other, everyone, and we want to see everyone succeed. So I think that is really what makes this team so special, and just pulling for each other and really just focusing on team success, not individual success.
What have the older players who have been through this regional setup told you, younger players, about the experience?
They said it's awesome. I was talking to Berto during the Wake Forest game, and he was like, this is exactly what a super regional feels like this atmosphere. So just kind of take it in as you go, I guess, but just take each day one day at a time. Don't miss a day and enjoy it.
Berto with the good advice.
Yeah, yeah.
You been talking to Knapp much, any? I remember you saying like he might have the best wisdom in terms of the pitching staff.
Yeah.
Like, is he giving you any little nuggets the past couple of days?
Yeah, I talked to him a ton, pretty much every day, go back and forth, and he'll drop some little nuggets in there. But yeah, he's been really big just all season, really. Just trying to keep my head in the right space, I guess, and help me out. So he's been great.
Anything else, Jason? Thanks, Jason.
Thanks, Jason.
Appreciate it, Jason.
Thank you.